Yep.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Development and Environmental Review Committee. Today is October 25th, 2023, and the time is approximately 10:01. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Ready? Begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the roll call. My name is Michael Rosales with the Planning Division.
I'm Gino Charles in Public Works Land Development.
Ryan Castillo, Public Works Traffic.
Carlos Polo, Public Works Engineering.
Robert Lindbergh, Water Department Engineering. Robert Castro, Water Department Environmental Control.
Elizabeth Mora Rodriguez with the Planning Division.
Curtis Markloff, San Diego County Fire Department.
Thank you, everybody. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak, make public comments for something that's not listed on the agenda? Not listed on the agenda. We'll get to the public comments when we get to the projects. All right. Next up is the consent agenda. There will be no separate discussion of the consent calendar items unless a committee member requests that the item be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. So our first item on the consent agenda is approval of the draft minutes, and our recommendation today is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 11th, 2023. Do I have a motion? All approved? Eight and ayes. All right, the motion passes. That was the consent agenda. Now we're going to move on to the public hearing items. All right, so public hearing items, item number 2 today is development permit type D 23-05. It's a request to allow the development and establishment of an industrial warehouse building containing approximately 103,000 square feet on a property containing approximately 4.78 acres. It is located at the southeast corner of East 3rd Street and North Tippecanoe Avenue within the Alliance California Specific Plan. It is categorically exempt pursuant to section 15332 for infill development projects of the CEQA state guidelines. And before we make a recommendation, is there any public speakers? I think we have 3 here. Mr. Les William, did you want to come up to the podium, sir? That one will work right there.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
was wondering what happened to the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'll try to make it quick. So, Governor Newsom just vetoed a bill AB 316. Basically, the Teamsters, the union out here, they created a bill for basically to stop robots from taking their jobs as truck drivers. So he just vetoed that bill. So just imagine what else is going to come behind that. Most of these rich people that own these buildings, sooner or later, they're going to fade human beings out and have robots and AI take people's jobs. And when that does happen, well, let me back it back. Some of those people that work in the warehouses, a lot of them did just come out of prison, so they're getting a second opportunity. So just imagine us taking that job away and allowing robots to take their jobs. They're going to go right back to the streets and do crime. We don't even have enough police. We don't have enough sheriffs to handle the crime. So we should stop these warehouse jobs, because sooner or later, when these robots do come over, I mean, when they do, I should back that. Some of our public officials aren't standing up for the people. And for that bill, we should be hearing the city council, the county board. They should be helping pushing that bill, but no one's pushing it. So I feel like they're just allowing these, I feel like I'm talking too much, but basically we need to stop the developments of these warehouses. We have to stop. Let's create an entrepreneur town. teach people how to get create jobs instead of keep working these warehouse slave jobs. Some people can't even hang out with their own families because they're so tired working 12, 14-hour days. So this is unhealthy, unsafe pretty soon. I know the air pollution is really messed up, and most of the people who are trying to get these developments, they don't even stay in California. They stay in a whole different state. The air quality is way better. Or they probably do stay in California, but they stay all the way in Venice Beach. They don't even stay out here in San Bernardino. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Your comments have been read into the record, if you noticed. All right, we're gonna move on to, I believe it is Darvel. Jiren G.
Daniel.
Oh, Daniel, sorry.
Hello, folks. Today I just wanted to express a few comments in regards to this development and kind of my frustration of the land development, kind of economic development in the city. And I wanted to speak in opposition of this item today and in hopes of a temporary denial of permit. And here's my reasons why. I know with the land, that 5-acre parcel on 3rd and Tippecanoe, there was another buyer that wanted to buy that land for a community benefit. But even besides that, I feel like the way warehouses are developed, industrial developments are put in, it's not having community in regard. For example, there was a warehouse approved on 9th and Tippecanoe. That's literally hundreds of feet away from an elementary school. Hundreds of feet away from, Bing Wong Elementary, Curtis Middle School, Indian Springs High School. So we have truck routes, warehouses, weaving in and out of these school zones, residential areas. And I feel like it's a disservice to the residents of San Bernardino. Yes, we do need warehouses. Yes, we do need truck routes, but do we need them right, like in our neighborhood, right on top of our homes? Some of these warehouse developments are even, what they're doing is they're buying out certain pieces of land, buying out the houses, knocking them down, and then putting the warehouses on top of them. One of these people that's buying out some of the land or residential plots is Pama Management. I don't know if you heard of them or if you've Googled them, but they have a little bit of an odd reputation. So what I'd like to see is the general plan be revised for the city and done in such a way where it takes community into mind and it takes our whole economy into mind. So it's not just that warehouse development equals economic development. We want to see other jobs come in. So that's kind of why I'm opposed to it. I would like to see the general plan redone, and I'd like to make sure that some of the comments that the Attorney General made about how some of the warehouse projects outside of the airport gateway specific plan are being done, it's violating CEQA, and it's kind of doing in such a way where maybe some of these smaller projects are trying to go outside of it so that way you can side skirt CEQA regulations when we really shouldn't. When I go to sleep, I live in Del Rosa, I have severe allergies. So when I try to sleep at night, sometimes I can't really sleep because my windpipe is like, it feels crushed. So it hits home harder for me because, I feel the effects of pollution a little more than others. Sometimes we don't always feel the effects because, if you have good lungs, good health, you're like, okay, cool. It's, I see smog, but that's about it.
Thank you, sir. To read into the record if you noticed. Could we have Tamia Gonzalez, please?
Tanya. Yeah, so my name is Tanya Gonzalez. I work with the People's Collective for Environmental Justice. Yeah, we've been trying to tell folks, that warehousing, bringing more warehouses into our communities are hurting us, right? Our health is deteriorating day by day because of these warehouses. This warehouse in particular is on 3rd and Tippecanoe, on the opposite side of where the airport gateway specific plan was proposed, right? There's still residents close to that area. I know most of the area on above Third Street or below Third Street is already mostly industry, but that doesn't mean it's not affecting our community. That doesn't mean that people are not breathing in that air. And you can't have developers go under, and try to not have an environmental report done on how this is going to be impacting. Because no matter how small they think these warehouses are, the impact is really big for our communities. The impact is huge for our children, for our elderly, for our people who have health issues. So we cannot have them be exempt from having an environmental report before they start this warehouse. And if it's possible, not do it at all. That would be even better.
All right, thank you. Comments have been read into the record and duly noticed. Do we have Andrea?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Vidaurre. I'm with the People's Collective for Environmental Justice. We've been working in San Bernardino. We have an office here off of D Street for the last 5 years. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the work that we've been doing around the airport area. As you know, that is one of the most industrial parts of the city. It's where if you go on the EJ screen and EPA tool, you'll find that there are the same levels of diesel pollution that there is by the ports of LA and Long Beach. There's a lot of cumulative impact in that area. By no means are we saying that we need to, for some reason, stop jobs, stop warehouses, any of the sort. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that if we are going to be planning industrial development, let's plan it in a way that's safe for people that live around here, because there are real health issues here. I see that there's building and safety, there's public works, there's land development, water, environmental. I don't see anything on health. And we really should be, because there are people that have to be plugged into oxygen machines in this area since the flights have started in that community. There are people that have higher risk of asthma. There are kids that get nosebleeds that are walking to and from Indian Springs. Like, this is a real issue, and you would know that if you're, on the ground. And we actually invite you guys to come to any of our meetings in the airport area so you can hear directly from people that live in that area about their concerns. I want to suggest that you all try out transitional zoning. It's when you take a heavy industrial use and try to put commercial or light industrial in this area, or something that's least polluting. And I understand that this is a light industrial project, but there's still dock doors. That means you're still going to have diesel trucks that are coming in and out of this facility potentially. How can this developer, how can the city work with this developer to make sure that there is some type of use here that buffers all of the heavy industrial pollution that's in that area, right? It can be a model. We're not saying you don't have to build anything there. There's a great example of some green space, a community garden there that can be expanded. There are other types of uses that can make money, just like a warehouse can, in that area that would buffer it. People already complain about the truck accidents that happen on 3rd Street, about the noise pollution that happens there. Hopefully I'm not boring you with these comments, but these are real issues, right? And so that's all that we're asking for. And at the bare minimum, if this is going to be a warehouse, if you're talking about diesel trucks coming in and out, a CEQA has to be required. A full CEQA analysis has to be required for a project like this, especially when you're talking about cumulative impact in the neighboring area, which is something under the CEQA review. So those are the things I want you to consider today. At least have another meeting, open it up for the community to be able to say what they want in that area. And also just in general, for the city to start thinking about transitional zoning. It's really not that hard, right? It's something that could be a really good example for other cities. So.
Thank you. Comments have been ready to the record and noticed. And you were Andrea?
Yes.
Did you just give me another one for Martha?
Good morning, Marta Romero with Teamsters Local 1932 and with the San Bernardino community, airport communities. Just like my colleagues, actually, I'm gonna reiterate the fact that we don't need any more highly polluted warehouses around the area. As we know, as you guys actually approved in the beginning of this year, you approved 2 projects with Hillwood, which are the corner of Del Rosa and 3rd Street, and Del Rosa, 108 Del Rosa as well. Now we're taking the other corner, which is Tippecanoe and 3rd Street. which is actually Hillwood owned as well. As we all know, Hillwood has actually come out to our communities, so Highland and San Bernardino have taken over our land. Nothing wrong with warehousing. I am a Teamster. We do represent warehouse workers. We do represent truck drivers as well. However, there's a limit and there's a boundary that has to exist. Hillwood has taken over our community. We have to put a stop to it. This is not something that community is actually looking forward to. They're contacting us. They're afraid of what's going to happen to their neighboring cities. You know, why is it Third Street being highly impacted? All those trailer parks, they don't have any say, so they feel they don't have any say. So the last time they showed up here, unfortunately, the board didn't actually seem that they were taking that much in consideration when they actually came out and spoke. You guys, like we said, you guys were not elected. You guys were put here, right? However, as we all know, you do have a duty to represent the community. That's something that needs to be addressed. The DRC has actually been approving projects and they have been moving forward without any say so or any review with the planning commission or city council. There's something fishy about that. I have said that in the beginning of the year. Here it is, almost the end of the year, and I'm saying it again. You guys don't go under the Brown Act. There's something fishy. Some of you guys, we represent some of you guys as Teamsters Local 1932. You guys should know better.
When you say fishy, can you elaborate for the record, please?
Say that again?
When you say fishy, can you elaborate for the record, please?
Fishy, like the fact that you guys are actually here without following the Brown Act. Because that's what I was said in the beginning of the year. Say that again?
We were all duly noticed, I believe, correct? Up to 1,000 feet, and our reports were all completely uploaded.
I'm talking about the fact that, am I gonna be able to speak after this? Okay, I'm talking about the fact that you guys are actually not following the Brown Act. That's what you guys told me in the beginning of the year.
We fixed that issue.
Oh, you guys fixed that
It's been
issue?
fixed since
So you
February
guys-
or March, correct?
That's ironic. There you go. That was my fishy part, that you guys were telling me you guys were not following the Brown Act, and all of a sudden now as of February, you guys do, because it was January when we came over and actually addressed that.
Yeah, we put that out to the public as well, that we were fixing that issue.
Right, which
You know, this is
public
what-
though? Like which
The
public?
city of San Bernardino.
The city of San Bernardino. How come it's actually, like, how do you actually have made the city of San Bernardino aware of that? By a two sentence
By
news article?
noticing the project,
Noticing what project? I'm sorry.
the project that went forward, you noticed it per the Brown Act. For procedures, we followed directions. We followed what we're supposed to do.
To me, when you say that you follow what you're supposed to do, when January you act, not you per se, you know what I mean? I'm saying you, not,
So what we could do is if you want to follow up with our director afterwards.
yeah, I would
And then we
actually,
can go ahead and maybe sit down and have a meeting and we can try to alleviate the situation there. I
yeah,
don't think
because
gonna
yeah, it seems kind of fishy. In regards to the project, like I said,
Mhm.
we need to have restrictions. This needs to go through CEQA, you know, like Andrea mentioned. This is something that is gonna be affecting the community. You know, CEQA is the best way to actually, you know, not perfect, but it's the best way to go.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so basically this property used to be part of the Norton's Air Force Base. So in 1988, the Secretary of Defense established the Base Realignment Closure Commission, which came in and started realigning and closing military facilities. So by March 1994, this base had closed down per the state of California, and they enacted this specific plan, right? So the purpose of the specific plan is to provide for the transition of the non-airport portion of the former Norton Air Force Base site from a single-purpose military base use to a multi-use commercial industrial standard. To accomplish this, the specific plan must address these criteria, which is outline the economic development needs, encourage future business development, generate or create new jobs for the community, provide for a broad mix of commercial office, industrial development opportunities consistent with the overall objectives and policies established for the property, comply with the city of San Bernardino general plan, which it is, and be just consistent with state law, which there was a initial study in a EIR established in 2007, which is online. All that information is in our specific plan areas online underneath the planning area. So you guys can always look into that if you want to. Can I have the applicants come up and in the rebuttal, please? You wouldn't mind addressing some of the concerns?
Good morning, everybody. Jason Huber representing Hillwood, the development group on this project. I don't know if I can address all of the comments that we had come up other than the spiel you just gave was mine. I want to note we're in 100% conformance with the city's general plan, 100% conformance with the specific plan. And then also Hillwood's been in the community for over 20 years now, redeveloping the old Norton Air Force Base. I know there are a lot of comments based on displacing residents and things like that, which is not the case on this project. We're actually demolishing existing military facilities that oftentimes contain asbestos containing materials and lead-based products. So we're actually kind of cleaning up that old area, putting in warehouse buildings, which I understand the opposition to, not necessarily a response to it, but this is what this area was planned for, as you just mentioned. When the base was closed, this project is, like I said, 20 years in the making. The North Gate area was planned for this development. It's taking a long time, obviously, that 20 years, but here we are. It's always been planned that way. There was an EIR completed in 2008. We have our environmental team here as well if they want to address some of the environmental specific questions related to CEQA. As you know, we also did some studies, although not required by CEQA. We went ahead and did some studies to show the no significant impacts on the project. So if you'd like, we can have our environmental team come up and answer some of those questions.
Can we have the environmental team come up, please?
My name is Miles Eaton. I'm an environmental planner with Kinley Horn. We're the environmental consultant for this project, hired by the applicant. In terms of a CEQA analysis, as you said, in 1995, an EIR was completed, and in 2007, an initial study was completed for an amendment to that specific plan. For this project, we agreed that the project would be categorically exempt. However, we prepared an air quality emissions analysis, a greenhouse gas emissions analysis, a noise study where we went and did vibrational and noise measurements at intersections and surrounding sensitive receptors. We prepared a health risk analysis for carcinogenic and non-carcinogenic health risks. And the traffic engineer for the project prepared a consistency memo for the previous traffic report that was completed for the project. And in all these analyses, we found that all of the emissions were below thresholds set by South Coast Air Quality Management District and in the city's guidelines as well.
All right. Looking at the agenda, it says it's a category exempt based off of, not by a traffic memo, but it says it's an infill project.
Correct.
Do you define infill project? Because I'm not.
Yes. So under the CEQA guidelines, a class 32 exemption is a project that is wholly within one municipality. So in this case, City of San Bernardino. The parcel in the development area is under 5 acres. This project is 4.78 acres and is found not to have significant impacts related to air quality, traffic, and biological resources.
Yeah. Could you define an infill project?
Yes.
Would this be an infill project?
Yes, this would. So this is a vacant lot within the city. There's no existing development on it. It's previously been disturbed. It's graded out. There's no sensitive, biological resources. However, so it's not developed currently, and so this would be filling in a vacant lot with a development within the city. And that would be infill development.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have anything to add, Jason? Good. So we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with the recommendation. The staff recommends that the Development and Environmental Review Committee adopt resolution number 2023-035, approving development permit type D 23-05, based on the findings and facts and subject to the recommended conditions of approval, and finding the project subject to a categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act. Do I have a motion? Second, all approved? Any opposed? All right, motion passes. We do have an appeal procedure. You would need to have everything into the city before the 15 days is up. So we can go ahead and start from today, which is the 25th, and count 15 days from today. So the
Business days, right?
excuse me?
Business days?
Correct.
No, not
Oh,
business.
no, I'm sorry. 15 days period.
So,
Calendar.
calendar.
So by the November 9th, we would get it all.
Disculpe, una recomendación que yo quiero hacer la traducción. Sí, disculpe, le estoy hablando nada más que voltear. Por eso.
Yeah, I'm just translating the translation request for next time. I'm able to, if you're comfortable with me providing the translation to, her translation to the board, I can do that as well.
That's fine. I think she's asking for future cases for there to be translation.
Okay.
Um,
Duly noted. We'll look into that.
But to maybe actually clarify what she's actually stating, not to have translation when she speaks in the podium, but to have translation while you guys speak, for her to have an equipment that translates, dual translation.
Okay, we'll definitely take that into account and bring it up to our director in terms of how we are able to obtain those types of services. Because usually that's not something that is done at our regular like DRC or planning commission meetings unless it's requested in advance. But we can definitely bring that up so that way we can have it on a more regular basis. I'm not gonna be able to guarantee an answer as to how quickly we can get that, but we'll definitely bring it up so that way they're aware that that's the request that's starting to come in from the community.
All right, moving on. Item number 3 today. Elizabeth, do we have the item, please?
Yes. Item number 2 is extension of time 23-03. This is a request to allow a 1-year time extension for the development permit type P 18-08 involving the development and establishment of industrial warehouse building containing approximately 464 square feet on a project site comprised of 4 parcels containing a total of approximately 5.25 acres. The project site is located at 939 South Inland Center Drive within the industrial light zone. And the environmental determination is categorically exempt pursuant to section 15061B3 review of exemption and 15162 subsequent EIRs and negative declarations of the CEQA and guidelines. The recommendation is not for is for the staff for the Development and Environmental Review Committee to move this item forward to the Planning Commission for consideration.
Was there anybody in the public wanting to speak on this item? No? Does the applicant have any questions? No? Good. Okay, so today our recommendation is just that staff recommends that the Development and Environmental Review Committee move this item forward to the Planning Commission for consideration. Do we have a vote? This is just for unspecified date?
This is for the future date of unspecified date at this time. Sorry.
So staff, we have a motion? Second. All right, all approved? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the item passes. We're gonna go ahead and adjourn now. The next regular meeting of the Development and Environmental Review Committee will be held on Wednesday, November 8th, 2023 at 10 a.m. in the boardroom located at 201 Northeast Street.